Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that I'm really excited to film for you guys because today I'll be doing my second full face of Marc Jacobs Beauty. So if you haven't seen it already, I'll leave a link to my first one up here in the eye for you guys to watch later on. I had so much fun creating that look and I was so obsessed with the finished result. So I thought today, let's sit down and film my second one. So if you're curious to see how this turns out, then just continue watching. Okay, so starting off with primer, I'm going to use this one here again. This is the Marc Jacobs Undercover Perfecting Coconut Face Primer in the shade 30 Invisible. So I'm going to pump about 2 pumps onto the palm of my fingers. Rub that between my hands and apply that all over my skin. So moving on to foundation, last time we tried out this one right here. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate. I really like this one, but I thought today let's try out this one right here. This is the Cafe Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Caffeine Concealer and Foundation. I picked up 3 different shades. I have light 180, medium 210, and medium 230 as well. So I thought let's try out this one right here. So here's a close-up look at the outer packaging. As you can see, it's really nice. It's nice and simple. It's very coffee inspired. And then here's a close-up of the bottles, which look so luxurious, classy, and chic. They're a nice frosted glass container with a gold cap. And then on the bottle itself, it says Marc Jacobs Extra Shot in white. And then I've got 3 different shades here. I've got light 180 here, medium 210 in the center, and then medium 230 on this side here. So I'll give them a nice healthy swatch. I literally can't get over how nice the packaging is. So the packaging itself is a wind off with a doe foot applicator, which looks like this. So I'm going to go right ahead and swatch them. So first off, you've got light 180, medium 210, and then medium 230. So I went right ahead and I just blended out the bottoms, and you can see this is probably going to be the lightest shade, so I might use that as a concealer today. And then between the two of them, there's just a slight undertone and depth difference. I'd probably say I'm the closest to 230, but I might just mix in a tiny little bit of 210 to give it some warmth. Okay, so I'm starting off with a shade here, which is the darkest one called medium 230. I'm going to open her up and I'm going to evenly distribute the entire wand all over my cheek. And I'm also going to take some above my forehead. And then I'm going to mix the middle shade, which is medium 210, along my cheek, forehead, nose, and chin. And then to blend that half in, I'm taking my Real Techniques number 200 Expert Face Brush, and I'm going to start buffing that out. Okay, so needless to say, this product actually has a lot of coverage. I took what was extracted on that wand and popped it on just this half of my face with a little bit of that middle shade, and you can see it covered literally every imperfection on my face. So I'm going to go right ahead and try it with a sponge. I've just grabbed the same Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge that I used in my full face of Marc Jacobs the first time, and I'm going to go right ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to take a full wand of that first shade 230 and apply that all over this half of my face. And then take a little bit of the shade 210 in between. And then taking the flat side of my Miracle Complexion sponge, I'm going to start blending that out. So there is that half of my face done with the sponge, and you can definitely see the coverage is just a little bit lessened on this side, but I actually don't mind it because I think it looks so much more like skin. I feel like if I had to pick out of the two, I actually maybe like the sponge side because it just looks a little bit more like skin and a little bit fresher, but applied really well with both. And then next, grabbing the lightest shade, which is once again light 180, I'm going to go right ahead and try to use this as a concealer, seeing as it's meant to be used as both. So I'm going to take a little bit right through here and up through here. I'm going to take some on my eyelid, between the brow, the bridge of the nose, and the corners of the mouth. And then to blend that out, I'm going to take my same Real Techniques brush. And then to set my face, I'm going to try out this powder here again. This is the MARC JACOBS Finish Line Perfecting Coconut Setting Powder. Here is what the powder looks like. As you can see, it's got a soft banana yellow color. And then to apply that, I'm taking my Dose of Colors setting powder brush, patting it into the net, and then setting my under eyes. And then to set the rest of the face, I'm taking that same powder on the MARC JACOBS number 12, the bronze brush. So I'm going to start packing that into the powder. And I'm going to start setting the rest of my face. And then moving on to bronzer, I've got these bronzers right here. I've already tried out this one, but these are the MARC JACOBS Omega Bronze Perfect Tan Bronzers, and I've got 3 different shades. I've got the shades 102 Tantric, 104 Tan-tastic, and 106 Tantalize. So seeing as I've already tried out this one, I thought let's do a half and half between the other 2 shades, but I'll open them up so you can see how the 3 shades compare. Okay, so that's the best I can do to try and get all 3 in my hands so I can show you what they look like comparatively. So the one in the black packaging is 102 Tantric. This one right here, the one next to it, is 104 Tan-tastic. And this one above here is 106 Tantalize, which you can see is so much darker. So I'm going to give them all a nice healthy swatch. So here are the 3 shades swatched. So the top one here is 102 Tantric in the black packaging. The one in the middle is this one here in the shade 104 Tan-tastic. And then the one down the bottom is this one here in 106 Tantalize. So we've already tried out the top one, let's try out the other 2. Okay, so first grabbing the middle shade here, Tan-tastic, on the MARC JACOBS number 10, the blush brush. I'm going to pat into the bronzer. And I'm going to start bronzing up this side of my face. So there is that side of the face done with this bronzer shade right here. As you can see, it is such a beautiful light bronzer shade for me. It's not too warm nor is it too cool, so I cannot wait to try out the other shade. So I just went right ahead and I dusted off my bronzer brush. So I'm going to take that into the darker shade, which is 106 Tantalize. And I'm going to start bronzing up this side of my face. So there is what the 2 bronzer shades look like on my cheeks. I've got to say, I like them both. I actually feel like they'd look really, really pretty together. This one is kind of like a contour and then this one is a light bronzer. But I'm so sad that these are discontinued because I would actually really enjoy seeing more colors in the same formula. And I feel like both, if not all 3 shades, work for such a good variance of skin tones. Okay, so moving on to highlighter, I've got a couple of highlights right here. I've already tried out this one right here, which is the MARC JACOBS Omega Glaze All Over Foil Luminizer in the shade 82 Jet Girl, but I haven't tried out this one right here. This is the MARC JACOBS Omega Glaze All Over Foil Luminizer in the shade 79 Gilty. So here is what they both look like. This one here is Jet Girl and this one here is Gilty. And then shade-wise, here are what the 2 colors look like. So you can see Jet Girl is more of a kind of peachy, goldy rose gold. And then this one here in the shade Gilty is more of a true bronze gold. So I'll go right ahead and swatch them both. And then there are the 2 shades swatched on my hand. So the lighter one right here is Jet Girl, and then the bronzier one is Gilty. So to apply the highlight, I'm going to take this brush here, which is the Real Techniques Angled Highlighter Brush. And I'm going to start tapping into the pan. And I'm going to start highlighting the top of my cheekbones. I'm also going to highlight above the brow and connect that to the cheekbone. I'm also going to highlight the center of my nose and the Cupid's bow. So to add some blush, because I don't own a Marc Jacobs blush, I'm going to take this one from my collection from Dose of Colors. This is part of the Mint For You collection in the shade Statement. And I'm going to apply that using my Dose of Colors tapered blush brush, which looks like this. So I'm going to tap her straight into the blush. And I'm going to apply that straight onto my cheeks. And then moving on to eyes, I've got 3 of these palettes right here. These are the Marc Jacobs Iconic Multi-Finish Eye Palettes. I've got 710 Provocateur, which I tried out in my last video. I've got 760 Smartorial and 790 Fantasine. So I've got 2 out of the 3 left to try, as well as a stack of the individual shadows, which are called the Omega Shadow Gel Powder Eyeshadows. And I've got the shades the Big O 520, Daddy O 530, Brav O 540, OMG 550, Oh Mercy 560, and Dynamo 580 as well. So I've got a lot to play with. I'm going to open these up and we'll see what we can do. So I thought in case you're curious, I'd show you which palettes I have. So here is the first one, 710 Provocateur. Here is the second one, 760 Smartorial. And then here's the last one in the white packaging, which is 790 Fantasine. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in so we can start on the eyes. But starting off, I'm going to grab this palette right here, which is the 790 Fantasine palette. I love the color story on this. I think it is so pretty. And I'm first going to take the Marc Jacobs number 24, the crease brush, which is a really nice big fluffy crease brush. And I'm going to start off in the 3rd shade over, which is called Fantasy. And I'm going to start popping that all throughout my crease. I'm next grabbing the same brush into the first shade here, which is Cold Flesh. And I'm going to start blending that underneath my brow bone to help buff out that previous color. Next, I'm grabbing this brush right here. This is the Real Techniques Crease Prep Brush. It's a really dense, tight brush. And I'm tapping into the darkest shade here, the second one from the end, called 4 More. And I'm going to start pressing this on my outer and inner corners. And then taking that previous crease brush with a mixture of the 2 shades, I'm going to start trying to blend those 2 together. Next, I'm going back into the palette with this brush right here, which is a nice flat shader brush. This is the number 22, the shadow brush. And I'm packing it into the last shade in the palette, which is called On the Dance Floor. And I'm going to start pressing that between the halo. Taking the same brush but on the other side, I'm tapping into the gold, which is called Meet Ya, which is such a funny name, MEET space YA. And I'm going to layer that on top of that previous shadow. And then because we only have 1 shade left in the palette, I'm actually going to take that same brush and tap into the middle shade, which is called She Said. And I'm going to press that right in the center of the eye. And then moving on to the lower lash line, I'm taking this brush right here, which is a short smudge brush. This is called the number 20, the smudge brush. And I'm tapping into the second shadow right here. This is called Covets. And I'm going to start smudging that on my lower lash line. And then next I want to try out this palette right here, which is once again the iconic multi-finish eye palette in the shade 760 Smartorial. So I'm going to take that same smudgy brush that we just used on the lower lash line, and I'm tapping into the last shade in the palette, which is called Runs the Show. And I'm going to start darkening the lower lash line. So next I think I want to really darken up the inner and the outer corner. So I'm going to take my Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush and I'm going to tap into this blue shade right here, which is called Make Sure. And I'm going to really press that onto just the very outer corner and the very inner corner as well. Yeah, that is so cool. So to make sure that my eyes don't look too dark, I'm going to really brighten my inner tear duct. So I'm grabbing this brush right here, which is the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush. And I'm tapping into the first shadow here called Whenever. And I'm going to use that to just brighten up my inner tear duct. So next I want to add a little bit of pencil to my lower waterline. This is the MARC JACOBS Fine Liner Ultra Skinny Gel Eye Crayon in the shade 14 Oh Spice. Here is what the packaging looks like. As you can see, it's a tiny teeny little pencil. You take off the lid and then the top cranks up. So you can see it's a really tiny pencil. It's one of those that you can't crank down. So I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand. That is such a beautiful warm chocolate brown. I definitely want to put that in my lower waterline. So I'm going to start by taking that pencil and popping it in my lower waterline. And then for the top, I'm actually taking the exact same pencil. So once again, this is the MARC JACOBS Fine Liner Ultra Skinny Gel Eye Crayon. But this one's in the shade 42 Black Cure. So once again, it's the exact same pencil, but you can see the little stripes here are black instead of brown. And I'm going to start drawing my upper wing. And then to add something cool to the liner, I'm actually taking that same palette and my pointed liner brush from Real Techniques, and I'm tapping into the kind of emerald tone right here, which is called For Once. And I'm going to pat that over the black liner. Wow, that is so cool. I'm so happy I did that. That actually just makes it so much more fun. So next I've got mascara, so I'm going to go right ahead and reuse these two. So I've got the Velvet Primer Epic Lash Primer in the shade 50 Prime and the Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara in the shade 10 Noir. Okay, so I went right ahead and I filled in my brows and I added some half lashes. These are the Vive half lashes in the style HL3 Whisper, and I applied them using my Vive lash applicator tool. So I'm going to go right ahead and move on to lips. So for lips, I've got quite a few different options. The first three are 3 different shades of the MARC JACOBS Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss Sticks. I've got the shades 554 Sugar Sugar, 570 Wet Your Lips, and 572 Coming Out. And then on top of that, I also have 7 shades of the MARC JACOBS Enamored High Shine Lip Lacquers. And I've got the shades 312 Sugar Sugar, 316 French Tickler, 318 Pretty Thing, 326 Pink Flamingo, 328 Some Girls, 344 Skin Deep, and 346 Rah Rah. So I think today, let's go right ahead and do a mini lip swatch video. Okay, so starting off, here is what the packaging for the MARC JACOBS Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss sticks look like. As you can see, they've got a coloured acrylic top with MARC JACOBS written in bold, a silver rim right here, and then a black base. As you can see, I've got 3 different shades in this formula. So I've got Sugar Sugar, Wet Your Lips, and Coming Out. So I'm going to go right ahead and just show you the first one all the way up close so you can really see in detail the packaging. So you can see once again the acrylic top. Once you take off the lid, the lip gloss is in a lipstick bullet, and then all you do to get the product is you crank it up. So you can see it doesn't crank back down, just like the eyeliners from earlier. These are kind of a crankable formula. So here is the first shade. This is 554 Sugar Sugar. As you can see, it's a really light kind of milky beige. These also have a really nice kind of pepperminty smell. The next one here is 570 Wet Your Lips. It's a really beautiful neutral peach. And then the last one that I have in this formula is 572 Coming Out. It is a muted neutral pink. And then moving on, here are 4 out of the 7 MARC JACOBS Enamored High Shine Gloss Lip Lacquers. The shades that I have are 312 Sugar Sugar, 316 French Tickler, 318 Pretty Thing, and 326 Pink Flamingo. And then moving on to the last 3 out of the 7, you've got 328 Some Girls, 344 Skin Deep, and 346 Rah Rah. So for reference, here are the 2 Sugar Sugars. Here is the lip gloss stick and here is the traditional lip gloss. As you can see, the lip gloss stick is pretty much the lip gloss but flipped upside down. You can see the writings on the cap on the lip gloss stick and then the writings on the bottle in the lip gloss. And then the cap is the acrylic and then the cap is the black. So you can see they do look very similar. Funnily enough, the colors don't look the same, but we'll see what they look like on the lips. And then in case you're curious, the applicator on the lip glosses looks like this. So as you can see, it's a flat doe foot with product on both sides. So here is the first one on my lips, 312 Sugar Sugar. I would actually say these both kind of have that same pepperminty sensation, but I would actually say the formula on this one is actually thicker and more opaque, and the color of Sugar Sugar in this one in comparison to the gloss sticks is definitely more milky and more pink, but I actually really like this and I'm so sad this is gone. So the next one that I'm wearing is 316 French Tickler. As you can see, it is a muted, soft, peachy coral. The next shade here is 318 Pretty Thing. It is a really beautiful, soft pink. The next one that I'm wearing is 326 Pink Flamingo. It is a slightly more blue tone bubblegum pink. The next shade that I'm wearing is 328 Some Girls. As you can see, it's a slightly brighter peachy coral with a little bit of gold shimmer. The next one that I'm wearing might be another favorite. This is 344 Skin Deep. As you can see, it is a muted mauvey greige. And then finally, here is the last shade that I have to try on. This is the shade 346 Rah Rah. It is a brighter bubblegum peachy sorbet color. So I actually think I'm happy with Rah Rah as my final lip color, but I'm actually going to give myself just a little bit of dimension using the MARC JACOBS Pout Liner Longwear Lip Pencil in the shade Cream and Sugar. And then the last thing I have to do to finish off my makeup is apply some setting spray. This is the MARC JACOBS Recover Perfecting Coconut Setting Mist. So I'm going to go right ahead and take that all over my face to finish off my makeup. So I'm going to start by shaking up the bottle and I'm going to set my face. So yeah guys, this is the finished full face of MARC JACOBS Beauty number 2. I had so much fun sitting down here, getting a little fun, getting a little creative, playing with some color, and I hope it inspired you guys to do the same as well. Let me know if there's some products from MARC JACOBS Beauty that you would love to see come back, because I definitely have a few from this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, then you guys know what to do. Please feel free to leave me a like, comment and leave any requests that you have down below in the comment bar, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell and drag it all the way down to all to become a part of this family and be notified of all my future videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. in the shade 104 Tantric. Nope. Here is this side, which you can see is a Night Light 106 Tantric. I would actually say they both